Yo, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 2 of Culture Attack. And it's your boy, Ruben Prime, here on the ones and twos. And with me, my partner in crime, the one and only Drew Yari. How you doing, my friend?
Ahoy, hoy. If I sound different, it's because I'm recording on my phone. Originally, we were going to do this live, but Google Fiber, my internet provider, decided, we're just going to fuck up. We're going to fuck up today. We're not going to have you guys go live. So, luckily, we were able to record. I did it the old ways. So I'm
Yeah.
on my phone, and I am here. I am ready to talk about well, not just talk about. I'm here to attack the culture
Oh yeah, we
and
we have to. We have to.
give it what it deserves.
A good choke it out a little bit.
Like
Just choke it out a little bit,
like it just told you to cry you a river over real glass.
Yeah, kind of like that, kind of like that. So yes, we are definitely going to, attack per se culture on this episode 2 of Culture Attack. And we are, ladies and gentlemen, we are on Spotify. That's our home base, but also on Apple iTunes
Mhm.
or Apple Podcasts, depending on which generation you are. Because I remember it being iTunes, but it's called Apple Podcasts now. But anywho, also we are on YouTube, so all the
Tube of
episodes.
you.
Yes, yes, we're on YouTube, and yeah, soon we're gonna be on all other like I'm slowly adding everything on the back end, but for now, those are the big three, as you say.
Hmm.
And your Google people, don't worry, we'll it'll be on there soon. But if you're on Team Android, I know you have to have Spotify. This is no way if for someone not to have Spotify on their phone, Apple or Android, is like, what are you doing? Like I think Spotify is like one of the best. Like it has everything. I mean,
I think
personally,
YouTube. I mean, personally, I think YouTube Music is better. That's just me.
yeah. I mean, in terms of podcasts, I will go with
Yeah.
Spotify, but for music, I always go to YouTube Music, just because it's free. And if you have your YouTube Premium or YouTube Red, as used to call, you have all those features as well on the native YouTube app as well. So yeah, like it's a bang for your buck with YouTube and YouTube Music. But yeah, we're on there. More platforms coming soon. And you can find me, speaking of platforms, you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Mr. Room Prime, and you can find Drew on X at DY Experience. So
Mhm.
definitely check him out there. And tonight, even though Google Fiber decided to turn heel on the show, not having
Oh,
us record live,
oh yeah.
we're still gonna bring you, a jam-packed episode. Again, we're gonna attack culture. We're going to choke it out a little bit. Like, come
Mm.
on, man. Like, you
It, it,
already
des-
know.
it, de- it deserves a good choking every now and
Yeah,
then.
yeah. Choke artist, but not in the way, not in that way, but in a way where we get to tackle all all walks of culture and entertainment. And yeah, we was gonna get right to it. So this past weekend, WWE went over to France. They were in France for SmackDown on Friday night. It was 6 hours before. There's time difference. Time zones are a lovely little thing, and as well as for Backlash, that was the first PLE that France had in regards to WWE pay per view PLE, whatever you want to call it. Um, I thought the show was really good in terms of just like predictable, yes, but is those kind of shows where yes, it didn't have like much build to it, but it was more so for the people of France, and the crowd was lively. The crowd, like throughout the whole event, they weren't quiet. They weren't sitting on their hands. They were moving. They were vibing, and I guess that's to be something like I don't know something in the food because over here us Americans like we're not up to snuff when it comes to like crowd reactions and unless it's like after
depending.
WrestleMania or SummerSlam or Survivor Series, things like that. Like after the during or after the big, big four, big five PLEs. And France, they were heard. Like we didn't know if France came to play. We knew afterwards. We knew that they came to play. We knew that they were, about it. And I loved it. Um Highlights for me were the street fight between KO, Randy Orton, and versus the Bloodline. Like that was really started off hot with the brawl. It was supposed to be a regular tag team match, but we knew it wasn't going to be just a regular tag team match. Like it has to have some sort of stuff, which it did, and like that was a really enjoyable opening match. Like it really solidified, the Bloodline, especially them adding a new member, which we didn't get. This
Right.
long werewolf, which I said, like I had put out a little blurb on X, like a little voice message on there, which is fun. I should do more of those. But I mentioned that we're not gonna get like the whole like appetizer, entree, and then dessert all in one go. Like you gotta like spread it out because the way that you tell this story, you can't just give out everything at one time. It's just impossible. So that for me, like introducing Tongaloa, Tama Tonga's brother, and you know the Gorillas of Destiny are in WWE. Like who would have thought that, New Japan, and they brought up New Japan a few times, which was fairly interesting. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something, but just the fact that they were brought up
Right.
was
E-
pretty interesting.
Even Punk was like, "Wait, you can't say New Japan on TV."
Yeah, yeah, I saw the pre-show, and that was another highlight of who like in 2024 to say that the pre-shows are a highlight is just like whoa, because it was the same thing for the Mania pre-shows, like Punk and Biggie, and even during the press conference for WrestleMania, which started this whole final boss, uh, Roman and Seth and Cody dynamic. Like it really like we heard Punk and Big E, and those two had good chemistry. Of
Mm.
course, the good friends, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they're so good. Like
yeah,
just and then Jackie Redmond too. I think she's really good.
yeah,
Even though her eyes kind of freak me out sometimes, but I think both of them are good. Big E, knock on wood. If he ever,
yeah,
if he unfortunately never comes back to the ring, he definitely has a future as a commentator.
absolutely,
Because he's just so entertaining. And Punk, again, whenever he decides to hang it up, like he has a future in commentating because he's just so good. Like you said, nobody can touch him, and he's right. Um, so I thought those two are really good together. And again, I like Jack. And I know I just made fun of her eyes, but I obviously think she's a very attractive, beautiful woman, and I think she's very good at her job, and she's very likable. Um, Again, this is just the benefits of no more McMahon, no more Kevin Dunn, of feeding people lines and saying, yeah, tonight is going to be a great match, and this match is a match, and it's going to be the match of a match. It's like,
hmm
no, just let people be themselves and have fun on these shows because 9 times out of 10, no one's going to be watching the pre show.
right,
So CM Punk's going to say whatever the fuck he wants. Big E, I don't think he's going to say whatever the fuck he wants, but he's not going to be like in a sense where he's like, I'm going to be offensive or
yeah,
piss people off. Like, I'm just going to be me. I'm going to be funny.
yep,
Um, but yeah, that works too. And just, I don't know, it's just a breath of fresh air with the old regime gone because this actually looks like not so much a wrestling show. I mean, it looks like a wrestling show, but it also looks like a sports show.
Yeah, sports
And that's
presentation. Yep.
right. So I'm enjoying it. But continue.
Yeah. The sports presentation is one of the highlights of TV, WWE TV, and the live events, the pay-per-views. I still call them pay-per-views.
Yeah, I
That's
say
one
it
of the
too. Fuck
highlights.
it.
Yeah, it's old school in us. Back in my day, we used to call them pay-per-views. Not PLEs. What's a PLE? Um, but absolutely. That was one of the highlights. Big E and CM Punk. Another highlight was Jey Uso's entrance to the ring. Like the whole crowd was lit, as they say, and it was a wonderful visual. And I saw on Twitter, well, not Twitter X, I saw on Twitter that Jey Uso put like the Fireflies were here, like the Fireflies were out tonight, and Bray is here, and that kind of got me. I was like, damn.
Mm.
And went looked back at the entrance. I was like, yeah, like you kind of you sense it, you feel it, and that crowd, man, like it's just I was standing in awe. Like I kept watching that intro, that entrance that Jay had, with the the people in France and Leon France just waving their hands up and down with their smartphones, flashlight on, just in unison, like they were perfectly in sync with Jay. It was a sight to behold. Another highlight, which of course, um, the triple threat match, the women's triple threat match. Okay, we all knew Baylor was gonna win, but just the fact that Bailey had a good showing, Naomi had a good showing, and Tiffany Stratton as well had she's phenomenal. Like she's definitely like in
Mhm.
5 years, she's gonna be at least one-time world champion, if not two-time world
Less than that, probably.
Yeah, probably less than that.
Well, I
But
was gonna say
just
like
a nice
less than
buffer.
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, nice buffer, 3 to 5 years. But definitely she's gonna be world champion probably by SummerSlam, without a doubt. Like she is already there.
Hmm.
And yeah, shouts to Shawn Michaels, good hire, good hire down there in NXT. And he knows a thing or two about the bakery because he
Oh yeah.
knows, yeah, he knows a thing or two. And apologies for my dog barking, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, he has done really good down there in NXT overall. Like, yeah, it may not be black and gold, but it's something that I'll say it's more palatable than AEW. Things make sense in NXT versus and AEW. It's just day and night. It's day and night. Or and then one more highlight. Jesus Christ. One more highlight. AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes, the main event, and also when AJ Styles came out, the French crowd were cheering AJ Styles. Like he's really phenomenal. And to me, I was like, damn, man. Like for all those who said that AJ is washed up or like he's done, no. Like he showed out with Cody Rhodes. He put out all the stops. Like that match was really good. Like I enjoyed that match. Um, like I'm glad for AJ Styles. I'm glad for Cody, and it's we had to give him his flowers while he's still around because he's not gonna be wrestling for long. So,
Right.
what were some of your highlights of the show?
Um, Kind of what you just said. Highlights. I would say the main event. I know people were kind of poo pooing over the crowd chants. I can see why because sometimes it was distracting because they'd be making their chants or whatever, and I'm like, what are they saying exactly? Like I even put that on Twitter, where I just went, anyone that's living in France or at the show, what is the crowd chanting? And for AJ, it was that the AJ chant, he is phenomenal, and I think the other one that they chanted was the French national theme. So I mean, I wasn't going nuts about it the way most people were, but I was just like, sometimes it's a little distracting, but it was fine with me. I didn't care. Yeah, I thought the AJ and Cody match was really good. You know, AJ is great. Um, how he's still a physical freak at this age is just amazing. And he definitely deserves his flowers. The match was really good. I thought it was a fantastic match. I, you know, do agree on some things where like I don't know why the match was so 50-50 in a sense where it's like Cody had been working for 2 years to try and finish his story and then taking down the evil Roman Reigns, like struggling to beat Roman Reigns, and then he beats him, and then he has a competitive match against AJ. And again, I love AJ, but it's like I don't think Cody should be having competitive matches with, at the end of the day, AJ is there to put over the other guy. He's there to have good matches with people, but also put over, the younger talent and the main event talent. I agree with Joe Numbers when he said that this match should have been AJ being a heel and using heel tactics to cheat, and Cody is the underdog where he overcomes the odds. So I do agree with that. Fantastic match, by the way. I can't take away from it. I probably don't want to see it again. As far as Cody's reign goes, a lot of his matches, I think, do need to be him being the underdog and fighting from underneath.
Yeah.
Where, whoever he's facing, and I get it, Cody loves wrestling and he wants to have these dream matches, quote unquote, and this is a dream match, but like he needs talent that's gonna just
help elevate him and help
elevate
make
him,
the title match credible,
it's just like, Cody's supposed to be Captain America, and it's just like, when you like we're sad when we're seeing Captain America get beat up and then finally he overcomes the odds and wins. Unless maybe future plans are for him to be Homelander sometime down the line, which I think a heel Cody would be fucking amazing.
Dude,
a heel Cody versus
amazing.
Heel Cody versus CM Punk.
Yeah,
that would sell tickets. But good match. The triple threat women's match I wasn't too crazy about. And Bayley's my girl. I love Bayley. I think the momentum of her being champion, I don't want to say it's gone downhill, but I think personally she's holding on to that title to drop it to somebody else that's bigger than her.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right, because again, I love Bayley, and I know people aren't going to want to hear this, but at the end of the day, wrestling's a business, and whenever you bring in the new shiny toy, they're going to want to go with the newer, younger, shiny toy. And again, I don't want to sound like a pig or anything, but that's just how that's the nature of the beast. And I know I love me some Bayley. I always love Bayley, but Tiffany she's not ready yet. She's still a little green. I mean, there's a lot of points in this match where she did show her greenness, and
but yeah, I noticed that too.
Right, and like there was a point where I think she was trying to go at 100 miles per hour, and Bayley just went, "Slow down."
Yeah.
And Naomi pretty much became a non-factor in this match. And I know, again, I like Naomi too. I know a lot of people are kind of like, she was the Knockouts TNA World Champion. It's like, yeah, it's all well and good, but you're in the WWE. Like, she's going to be here to put over people. Yep. And I'm pretty sure she knows that. And, again, Naomi's good, but I don't think Naomi's going to be, it's worth saying the guy. She's not the woman. She's going to be one of the women.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, decent match, not great, but decent. The women's tag team title match, I think, was maybe my least favorite match of the night, and doesn't fall on night, not night, day. It was during the day. Jesus Christ, it was night in Australia, but doesn't fall on Jade, surprisingly, and Jade actually showed a lot of improvement in this match. Which who would have thought working for a professional wrestling company and a professional performance center would have improved you, but who would have thought that. Doesn't fall on Bianca because Bianca's great. It falls on the Kabuki Warriors to me. And they got no reaction. And that crowd was chanting for everything. As soon as the Kabuki Warriors came out, they got nothing. And it sucks because Asuka has basically become another wrestler in this group. And Kari's saying, I like her, but she hasn't done anything since coming back. She hasn't really worked any feuds. They just automatically paired her back with Asuka. So, but yeah, Jade looked like a star. Her and Bianca as tag team champions, that just looks great. That's a great visual, and that makes the women's tag team titles actually mean something. So I'm glad for that. I mean, down the line that could be a Mania match. I personally would rather see Bianca as a heel. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that could be a great feud because like Bianca could get jealous of Jade's popularity and her success, and Bianca can this is gonna sound weird coming from me, but it's like Bianca can be like, there's only room for one dominant black female
yeah,
in this division, and you're looking at her,
yeah,
just
yeah.
doing that. Sorry, people. That just Bianca works better as a heel. Like when she was in NXT, she was a better heel, and not to say she's a bad face, but it's just like I don't know. Calling yourself the EST is not
It's
a
not a
face
baby
thing to do.
face thing. Yeah, it's not a baby face thing to do to call yourself the EST. You're basically saying I'm better than everyone. Um,
Right.
she does need to be a heel. I definitely agree.
Right. And also, I look at it like this: like Rhea, when she comes back, she's going to be a fucking over as Rover babyface,
Oh yeah.
and then you have a heel like Bianca, and then you can finally do that Mania Dream match.
Yep.
Like that's a main event match. Like I don't give a fuck. That's a
Absolutely.
main event match. Um, what are the other matches? Yeah, Jay coming out, to the big entrance. That's great. Again, unfortunately to me, Jay is just he's an entrance.
Yeah.
He comes out, he gets that big entrance, and the match starts, and you're like, oh, like again, I know it sounds like I'm not trying to harp on the guy, but it's just like Jay is an entrance, and there's nothing wrong with that because a lot of people are entrances in this company.
Yep.
Not too many, but yeah, Jay is an entrance. Damien, I I like Damien. Visually, he looks like something, but it's just something's missing with him. Like he's not getting that reaction. I'm not saying he got no reaction, but he's not getting that kind of reaction that you would expect him to get. He's not getting the reaction that Drew is getting, that Gunther is getting. There's just something missing about him, and I don't know what it is. It's not
Yeah.
like he has the personality there. He has the voice. He sounds like a grown ass man,
Mm-hmm.
but I just can't tell what's missing from him. Um, but I think eventually he's going to work better as a face.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think he needs to separate from the Judgment Day because it's like, while I like them as a group, like he needs to be a solo star. And I think some of the comedy stuff, even though it was funny, it kind of hurt him. And
hmm
just losing and not cashing in, storyline wise. But then we they kind of gave us a kayfabe reason why he couldn't cash in on Seth, and it's because during those times Seth wasn't cleared, and then also there are a few times that Drew spoiled Damian Priest's cash in. So you know, go back into record books to see, show the clips to see that. But yeah. So I think he needs to be on his own, and
right,
I think he'll be like a good baby face tweener. I think he'll be a tweener, like a good tweener. Because yeah, I think the Judgment Day breaking up it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So
hmm
yeah, and then one more thing regarding the women's tag match. Um, Jade was good in certain spots, bad in other spots. I did notice she looked lost in certain aspects,
right,
and also the Kabuki Warriors. I love Asuka, I love Kairi, I love those two girls, but it's just like, damn man, Asuka was a fucking killer when she was in NXT, and even when she was brought up in the main roster during her undefeated streak, and it's just like, I think she needs to be paired up. Like she needs to be like solo. She needs to be that Ronin type character where she just fucks people up. Because just being with a group, you kind of blend in, just become another wrestler, and doesn't help
hmm
that she Um, she just keep losing. Like she lost, at Mania, and she lost here at Backlash. It's just like I just want her to win. I want her. I want her to before she retires. I want her to win one WrestleMania match because every Mania match she's fought, or my memory serves me correct, she lost every single one. She lost
Hmm.
against Bianca. She lost against Rhea, Charlotte. She lost this year. It's just like, come on, like, um, it's just not. It's just not helping, and she's really good. Like she's, awesome wrestler. But it's like her losing when it matters. It won't. It's not helping her. But I mean, maybe she's like, "Oh no, it's okay. I'll put someone over." Maybe we don't know. Like we may be upset, like, "Oh, she's losing all the time," but maybe he's like, "Oh, I'll put her over, no problem." I like, I like Bianca. Like Bianca's
Hmm.
cool. I like her, or I like Rhea. Like, just remember, she doesn't look it, but she's in her 40s, doesn't look it, but
Oh,
Oscar,
oh yeah, yeah. She's 40.
yeah.
Yeah, Asuka's kind of like Nakamura, where besides that she's Asian.
Yeah.
She she in a sense where she just seems like she's having fun.
Mhm.
Like she just wants to have fun. Like she has her own YouTube channel and she just talks about like American experiences, like trying different types of food and like I don't know. Maybe at this point in her career, she's like I'm content.
Yeah.
Like I've checked off every box. I I'm the first women's Royal Rumble winner. I won the women's what do you call it? The women's Money in the Bank.
Mhm.
Uh, and I've been a multi-time women's world champion. I'm the longest reigning NXT women's champion. I'm also a women's tag team champion. So it's like, yeah, she's literally done everything.
Yep.
She has checked off every box in this company, and you know, yeah, maybe she's just like, oh, pin me, pay me.
Yeah, pretty much. And I know she's making good money here in the States, and she's content. It's like for us, and it's something I noticed, like when people say, "Oh my God, look what they're doing to like Finn Balor,"
Mm,
um, and it's like, don't you understand? Like he's making so much money. He's traveling the world. He's doing something he loves. He's in a faction that's, and this is for Finn Balor. He's in a faction that's being featured prominently on Raw on a weekly
mm-hmm.
basis. So it's like poor Finn. Like, don't feel sorry for him because he's like, yo, I'm having the time of my life. Why?
But
Why else? That
but
if,
but do you
if
remember? But Ruben, do you remember that one time when he was in the Tokyo Dome and he faced up against Tachi Katachi Manachi, and Dave Meltzer gave it 6.5 stars.
yeah,
I don't know, just
Pepper's
people
fond
do the whole
memories.
people do the poor Finn, poor Kevin Owens, poor Generico, and it's like, yeah, poor them,
Yeah,
poor them
yeah.
making a lot of money, traveling the world,
Mhm.
be featured on TV. It's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Just fuck it.
being on TV, watched by millions of people, having sold out venues, winning championships. Because mind you, Finn Balor was 2-time undisputed tag team champions with Damian Priest.
Mm-hmm.
He he's been featured prominently on TV, and you see Sami Zayn. He's Intercontinental champ. He was on tag team champs with Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Main event WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Like poor, and he was in the Bloodline storyline. Like
Mm-hmm.
poor Sammy. No, Sammy's good. And same thing with KO. Like KO was part of the story of the Bloodline. He main event Mania with his friend
Twice.
Sammy twice. And with Stone Cold, which I saw like
Like
a clip of that.
like
Like
Stone Cold's first match in like what 20 years. He
yeah,
came and he handpicked Kevin Owens as his opponent. It's like,
it's like hey, I want that
oh,
guy. That guy right there. I want him. It's like, come on, like, or poor these guys. No, they good. They're they're traveling the world and making money hand over fist. They're getting to do what they love. Don't
Hmm.
feel sorry for them. It's just that with these certain fans, they care about the matches. All the he's not winning all these championships. Like he's not like people get older. You know, people's bodies wear down as they get older. They want to slow it down.
Right.
It's just like you can't be in your 20s forever. If that was the case, if there was opportunity for me to be like like physically be in my early to mid 20s, I will take it. But it's something, even no matter how much you work out, how much you stay healthy, you do age. You
Right.
do age. It's just, especially when you're in a hard hitting sport, when you're wrestling as much as they do, your body's gonna go through wear and tear. So it's just natural. And
Like
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we'll wrap this up a little bit, but like I don't know if you
Mhm.
saw that quote from Julia, the I get the newest NXT signing. Was it the
Yeah.
number 2 best wrestler in the world, Julia?
Yeah.
She made a statement where she said, basically where she's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to wrestle in front of 6,000 people in a Tokyo Dome or whatever. When I was just at WrestleMania and there was 80,000 people there,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just like night and day. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
Right. Like
Yeah, you
it's
know what I mean?
night and day. It's night and day. Like
It's like with Ricky when Ricky Starks was in one of like the boxes for Cody,
mhm.
and there's video footage of Ricky Starks just like going yeah, like he looks happy to be there, and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
like I can imagine Ricky being like, please hire me,
Yeah.
please, I will do anything, I will clean the floors, I will pop the popcorn, I will give out soda pop to everyone in the arena, just for the love of God,
Jesus.
hire me. Like he just
Jesus.
like Triple H meets him. He's like, "Hey, Ricky, we'd love to have you here, but you're with the other company. I understand, Paul." And then he shakes his hand, and there's a piece of paper that just says, "Help me."
So his cry for help is being held ransom by AEW. I mean, I'm sure he's he's professional about it, but he knows that he wants, like, if he had a chance to get out, he'll get out.
Oh
Um
well, as soon as that contract, the second that contract is expired, he is already out the door with the car running,
oh yeah.
and uh, whoever has any like common sense is going to join him.
Oh
And
hell
I can
yeah.
just see, and MJF is going to be in the house just crying, going, "Fuck."
Yeah. I mean, with MJF, I mean, we could switch gears and talk about MJF for a bit, but it's like, damn, like he was there was reports that came out, and Monster, shout outs to Jason Solomon, he broke the news about a week ago that the PE, the physical therapy, um PT, excuse me, didn't work, wasn't working out too well, and then he had to go under the knife. And
Mm.
his return was pushed back. He was supposed to return in March, but he's going to be out practically for the rest of the year, and it sucks because he is gravely missed on AEW TV. He was one of the highlights of AEW television on a weekly basis. He didn't need to wrestle every week, but when he was there,
All
like,
right.
yeah, he had a mic in his hand. That's all we needed. And yeah, some of the stuff with Adam Cole, like I did like it was like a freak accident that it got over, but him turning babyface was definitely one of the death nails for him. I mean, he's still MJF, but it's like, him turning babyface, the booking towards, before he dropped the belt to Samoa Joe wasn't the best. Like him being a babyface, just like a white meat babyface, the corporate type. It just, I didn't like it. Like, and a lot of people agreed. We still like MJF, the character, but the way he was portrayed we were like not for it, but we like MJF. We supported him regardless. But you can support someone and still say, "Hey, I don't like the direction of his character or her character." You know, you can two things can simultaneously be right. You can like someone but hate the direction that they're being, taken. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Again, MJF is missed on the show. MJF seems like a smart kid. Feels weird calling him a kid, but he seems smart, and I can pretty much guess that he sees everything that's happening with this company on the show, going, I'm gonna fucking prolong this shit as much as possible. Like, imagine bringing MJF back as because I actually do like him as a babyface personally. I mean, I like him as a heel too, but him as a babyface I think works because he can still be the smarmy scumbag, and like his whole thing is, I'm not just a scumbag, I'm their scumbag, and I think that works because he can still be the smarmy asshole, except now he's talking to heels. And imagine bringing him back and like he's trying to go against the EVPs. He would make them look like bitches
Yeah.
because like just him like pointing out how much they suck and how Jack Perry sucks and how he almost ruined the company or ruined All In for us and blah blah blah. And then just imagine the Young Bucks trying to fucking retort back to him.
Yeah.
They would just look like fucking bitches. Like we'd
No,
be
I
like,
pay to
oh
see
yeah,
that.
oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
pay to see
Max.
that.
Oh yeah, Max. Well, you're an insubordinate young child. It's like, oh fuck off. Fuck you.
Just
Fuck
like
you.
Drake and Kendrick Lamar pretty much. Drake is
Exactly.
saying, "Oh, you you cheat on your, you hit your wife. You slapped her." And then Kendrick is like, "Oh, well, we'll go down the list of everything that you've done, all the dirt I have, go down the list." And even during commercial break, he'll still be reading like, the list of Jericho, back in WCW, all the hold naming all the holds, but you know,
Armbar.
uh-huh. And yeah, I like MJF when he's a heel, but as a face, he has to be with the right like people when he's a baby face. If he's just doing just the way that he was booked, getting the title taken from him and that whole thing, I didn't like that. And then the fact that just the overbooking nonsense with,
Right.
when Jay White was, feuding with him and all that, and MJF was basically, just hopping on one leg and he still be a fresh Jay White. I didn't like that because
Right.
it made both guys just look like blah. And I like Jay White and I like MJF, but you can be a baby face and be, just a scumbag and not be, how MJF was booked. But yeah, I do agree. Like MJF versus the EBPs, I would love to see MJF just destroy them on the mic because
Mhm.
it's it's something that it's imagining MJ and I think this is where the direction's going. But just imagining that them being put in their place and having that dynamic. But yeah, MJF is greatly missed. He's sorely missed, and I hope he recovers ASAP. Finish out the rest of his contract, bring AW to back to relevance because you do need good talkers, people with presence on there, and I hope that he returns and just just damn, I miss that guy. I fucking miss that guy. Like it sucks. Like it hasn't been the same since he's gone. But hopefully when he comes back, he wrestles a less like stiff style. Because we
Right.
know he can wrestle. You don't need to destroy your body. Please come back, wrestle, do one or two like crazy moves. Don't kill yourself again, please. Please, Maxwell. Let's see. But yeah, I guess that's all the wrestling talk we have for here.
Mhm.
But next, talk about a little bit of X-Men 97.
Oh, goody.
Like I saw this past week's episode, and jam packed with so much stuff. Fight scenes were phenomenal.
Mhm.
I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. The bit with Nightcrawler and Wolverine fighting side by side,
Oof,
going against the Prime Sentinels,
so dope.
was so dope. I love that. Even when Wolverine, um, that scene where Nightcrawler was teleporting and Wolverine was,
Oh,
hacking away, and then you get to see how Nightcrawler teleports through Wolverine's perspective. That was really dope. Like that was good animation right there. And just that fight, it reminded me that fight reminded me of the Return of Cooler, the Dragon Ball Z
mm,
movie, where Vegeta and Goku were fighting all the metal coolers, and it was like exhausted, and then a whole row of them appeared off of the cliff, and it was
mm.
like, oh fuck, like, all right,
That was
people,
underrated.
let's just
That was
go.
underrated.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah, that
move
movie's
was good. That move was good. Like that DBZ move was one of like hidden
both cooler
gems.
movies.
Yeah, the Revenge of Cooler is really good, and also Cooler's Revenge. Like the Cooler is a really good villain. I
Mhm.
wish he was canon. Again, rest in peace, Akira
Mm.
Toriyama. But damn, I wish Cooler was made canon. Broly is canon. Hopefully, we
Right.
can get Cooler to be canon, and we'll see. Fingers
Which
crossed. Knock on wood.
which they fixed cooler. I mean, not cooler. They fixed Broly because
Yeah,
in the movies he was very one dimensional.
yeah,
Like he was just the yelly, angry guy. Kakarot. And
yeah,
then whenever they rebooted him, essentially they made him. I guess they gave him more of a. I don't want to say personality because he's still kind of the quiet guy, but like he, I guess, has more pathos to him.
yeah,
So good, good. That's enough DBZ talk, people. But we just
yeah,
wanted to let
yeah,
that
yeah.
continue.
Yeah, but yeah, going back to X-Men 97, the cameos or like that's like one thing I like is that the cameos, they definitely serve a purpose, and uh they foreshadow what's to come. And this this thing with Magneto, the whole thing of the show is that, hey, like, Magneto was saying these things, predicting these things will come to pass, came to pass. Now the world are against the mutants again, and found out that Xavier's alive, and then it's like, who's pulling the strings? Like, who's behind the scenes manipulating all this, creating the Prime Sentinels. And I like the Prime Sentinels design. It's basically like a techno virus, and I like that because the older Sentinels were like very, what Bastion mentioned, that they're just like, the way that he described the old Sentinels were just like, prehistoric, like, like the T-Rex or whatever,
Mhm.
something like that. And that the Prime Sentinels are basically like the next step in evolution. Is like I heard this quote, like a Swiss Army knife, like
Right.
a scalpel rather than, just like a big chainsaw, whatever. So they're much more sleeker. They they're much more sleeker, and you wouldn't expect them. You wouldn't know what hit you until it hits you, actually. And I like that. And it was very like suspenseful, horror esque, when they just all came alive. I was like, oh fuck.
Mm.
They all came
Love them.
alive. Yeah, that I love that. That was good horror elements. This show, again, every time I said, okay, this is the best episode of the season so far, I was like, nope. Now this one, the current one that we're on, is the best one. And it has so many good things going for it. It had um just a lot of suspenseful moments. Nice seeing Cable, of course, and the Summers, the Summers family. getting their chance, their time to shine. Wolverine and Nightcrawler getting their time to shine. Love seeing Cable. Just the villain being revealed. Bastion getting revealed. We get to learn a little bit about his backstory, how he became the Bee, and just 'cause at first we thought, oh, it's Mr. Sinister, whoop de doo, here we go again. But then it's like, okay, no, he's not the big bad. He's one of the big bads, and the big bad is actually Bastion. It's like, oh, it's interesting. And it to me, it's I, I love this show. Remember, you can go back when I was like, I'm not sure, I don't know, but I'm happy, with the show. I'm happy. Of course, you know, still cautious, but I'm enjoying the show. It's must see, streaming, appointment streaming, because it's not on TV, but it's appointment streaming for X-Men 97.
Mhm.
And I really can't wait for this week's episode. And I wonder, like, if some of the X-Men will join up with Magneto, now that Professor, I don't think so, now that Professor X is back. But that whole dynamic now, like, is always gonna end up being Professor X versus Magneto. Is always gonna be that way. Even though Magneto saved everyone's, saved the X-Men's life, but now it's like, okay, it's gonna be a war pretty much. So we gotta wait and see this week's episode. So many things can happen, so many like scenarios that will go down. But enough of my talking. What do you think, Drew? Like, I'm over here talking, I'm rude. I apologize. What do you think of this episode?
Yeah, rude. More like rude in Prime. No.
Ah.
No. I love this show. I was on the fence because I was just like, Marvel lately hasn't been slapping like it used to.
Hmm.
And then this comes along and you're just like, ah, you're like, this is good Marvel.
Yep.
This is Marvel when you just allow the writers to write and you allow the director to have a voice and you just allow the story to take place and not, hey, let's mix in current world events and current slang. Let's have Wolverine say "dap." It's like, no,
Yeah.
go away, go, no, you go over there, stay away from this. And when somebody, or actually Kevin Feige is responsible for how good the show is, but like just when anyone else tries to like put their dirty little mitts on the show, I can just imagine Kevin Feige or like the guy who used to run the show who got fired, but which I think he's coming back. Just
Yeah.
like slap their hand and go, no, go sit over there.
Yep.
Yeah, go have a timeout. This show is great. I love this show. This is the best X-Men thing I've seen in a while. Like the movies I like, but like the movies seem more like a Wolverine and the X-Men movie,
Yeah.
and not, and just a movie more about mutants and not so much about X-Men. This seems like an X-Men show because as much as I love Wolverine, Wolverine's not the star of the show. Wolverine is just a background player.
Mhm.
And that's good because Wolverine's not the leader of the X-Men. He's a part of the X-Men. And the creator of the show had said straight up, I'm making an X-Men show, not a Wolverine and the X-Men show.
Mhm.
And good, because you get to see Cyclops shine. You get to see Jean Grey shine. You get to see other characters like Cable, have their day in the sun. Nightcrawler, who I love, I think is great. I'm still mad about my boy Remy. Like I still can't get over that.
Yeah. Same.
R.I.P. Rogue, I like her story because she's just like, fuck this. Like the one person I love is gone. Now someone needs to pay. I also like the cameos, like you just said, where they serve a purpose and they're not overshadowing the story. Like they brought in Captain America for just that one scene, and it was just like, it's Cap.
Yeah.
And they did a good job of making sure he didn't overshadow the scene, but at the same time, not making him look like a complete bitch.
Right.
Like when, Rogue is like, oh, since your hands are free, I guess you won't be needing this. And then she just chucks his shield into the snowy mountains. I'm just like, ooh. Even Cap's like, I'm gonna stay out of this one.
Yeah.
And then the last episode, which I'm so glad I stayed up until 2 in the morning to watch it and not wake up the next day to watch it, so I could see fucking people spoil it on fucking TikTok and
Yeah.
Instagram or whatever. Where you just saw not the well, pretty much a cavalcade of cameos where you had Doctor Doom show up, and it's funny, like he was telling Bastion pretty much like, I know I'm Doctor Doom, but you're a crazy motherfucker. I'm not fucking with you. I'm not helping you. My hands are free with this. I'm gonna go back to Latveria and do my own shit. And same thing with who was it? Zemo. Like that was a cool cameo.
Yeah.
The cameo in question, which I did not see coming, was when Magneto just says enough, and then he decides to disable everybody that's being possessed by these whatever the hell they're called, parasites.
Yeah.
And then you see everybody around the world. You see fucking Spider-Man. You see the
Yep.
90s Spider-Man that we grew up with. And I saw that, and I usually don't get up and go nuts for anything. Like, I was in my bed. I was just laying back and watching it. As soon as I saw Spider-Man, I went, oh, Spider-Man. And granted, it was like a 5-second clip. It's like, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then Christopher Barnes, the voice of Spider-Man from the 90s, was even like, hey, I'll come back and do it. You just got to call me. I'm like, yes, come back, please.
Please come back.
And then seeing the other cameos like Silver Samurai and Omega Red, which Omega Red's a dope villain, by the way. Yeah. And this is just such a great episode. Like, I'm sad. I'm really sad. That's the only criticism I have, is that there's 2 more episodes left. And then it's like, but what else? What else are you supposed to watch after this? Like, what? What am I supposed to do with no X-Men?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely staying up until 2 in the morning for the next episode to come out. Same thing with next week. This is just such a good show. I'm loving it. It's weird because when the show started out, it was very lighthearted-ish.
Yeah.
They wanted to establish this team as a family, and I know I had some problems with like dialogue because it seemed very over the top. And then that Mojo episode, I was like, I don't. Why is this episode here? Like, I get it, it's a filler, but I would have thought they would have maybe not had any filler episodes on this season, because it's weird because they paired up the Mojo episode with the episode with Storm and Forge. I'm like, the Storm and Forge episode needed its own like episode, actually, and not just be like a half.
Yeah.
But and then episode 5 came along, and you're like, what? What happened? What? Why are these innocent people being killed? They didn't do anything to anybody.
Right.
And then that whole episode started out very lighthearted, like everybody was partying, having a good time, and then you get to the downer, which Gambit knows he can't have Rogue. He even like wore his best suit, his best white suit, and Rogue is like, listen, I can't touch you. Like, if I touch you, I'm gonna hurt you. Like, Magneto's the only one that I can touch, and I know it's gonna hurt him. And then Rogue fucking tells Magneto, maybe Remy was right. Yeah, and she was gonna be with him, and then man. And then everything happened. And it's just like, man, like our boy Remy died died thinking that Rogue didn't want him. And I'm like, oh boy, like it sucks. Yeah. It definitely does suck.
Very dark, very heavy, but I think it's needed to tell a story to further along like the overarching story. And you need tragedy with life, without, how's the saying goes, there is no life without tragedy. You gotta have some tragedy, like, because it molds us, it changes us, it molds us to who we need to be. Because times of great difficulty and it really helps us become who we are. Through adversity, trials and tribulations definitely help us as human beings to be like who we need to be at that time. And it shows really well here on in the show. And it's like it's not a kid show, which I like
No,
that it's more like adult focus, has more adult themes, and yeah, it's really fucking good. But hey, hashtag Magneto was right at the end of the day.
definitely was.
Yep.
And this is why you need streaming for shows like this, because whenever when it was on Fox back in the day, it was very kid friendly, and they would have kid gloves, and instead of guns it'd be like laser guns or whatever, and there's no blood, no
Hmm.
violence. Now it's on streaming, like you can be a little bit more edgier, you can show blood, you can show violence, and then not like to the Punisher extent, but like
Yeah.
you know where it works for them, it's more believable for them. Like this isn't Logan where he's like chopping dudes heads off. Like it's enough violence, and like you hear Wolverine swearing. Like he's not saying fuck or whatever. He's like saying damn it.
Yeah.
He's saying stuff like that. And you can get away with being a little bit more adult with adult themes, like Rogue, you know, having like probably the sexiest dance I've ever seen with Magneto.
Hmm.
With
Hmm.
that song that is still stuck in my head, by the way.
Yeah.
And just other shit where like Magneto is fighting off against like that super ultra Sentinel, and he starts to have flashbacks of being in Auschwitz,
Yeah.
a concentration camp. I'm like, you can't show that on. You wouldn't be able to show it on Fox Kids. You
Yep.
definitely could.
Hmm.
So, and I like that Marvel is taking not so much baby steps, but like they're like our audience is growing up, and these comics they're not all squeaky clean. Like X-Men definitely wasn't very squeaky clean. It dealt with like social issues and racism and classism and sexism and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I'm glad that Marvel is like, we need to like let the gloves off and just be as like put your message out there and write your story. Um, so yeah, X-Men to me is the best thing that Marvel has done in a long time since Endgame. And I just again, I hope we can get more shit like this. Um, and there's already a third season that's already been greenlit.
Yeah.
And but like I mentioned, I think that guy was a Bo DeMaio. I think he'll come back.
Yeah.
Personally, I think he'll come back because he. It also helps that there's good writers on the show. Like there's writers that actually know the material and know about X-Men.
Right.
Like like, and I've always been someone of the position of like, you know, not everything has to be comic accurate. Just write a story that seems similar to the material. But lately, they've been putting out so much shit where I'm just like, has anyone actually read a comic book before? And now you have people on this show. Like I just saw an interview with two of the composers who were like, "Oh yeah, we read X-Men growing up. Like that, like we liked X-Men, blah blah blah. Like we read all the comics, and you know, a lot of the music we choose is based on how we feel about Wolverine or how we feel about Gambit or how we feel about this character." And you can tell like they actually know the shit.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like, oh, I watched Hugh Jackman's movies. It's like, no, we actually read the comics. We know about the
Yep.
characters, we know the stories. And same with the writer. So I think they're going to bring back Bo DeMaio. The whole thing about supposedly firing him because he had an OnlyFans is just like, come on, grow up. Like, come on, Disney. Like, just hire him back.
Oh Lord. Yeah. I mean, listen, like as long as I don't see no wood swinging, like you know, like do what you want, but as long as I don't see nothing swinging or thanging, like we could couldn't keep a straight face saying that. But yeah, it's just like um, they could bring him back. Hopefully, things are kept. Things are kept as consistent. Um, things are kept consistent in season two. The same flow, same energy. Once these two last episodes, premiere, because it's a really good show, and in light of what Marvel has been producing, all these just disappointments after disappointments, it shows that hey, put out something that fans love, that is true to the source material, and people will will flock to it. Like I think that's just a simple formula. Just create things that people want to see. Don't pander, don't virtual signal, don't deviate, don't deviate from the source material, don't insult people's intelligence, and you'll be fine. People will gladly give you their hard-earned money, for streaming services to go watch the movies. I think it's just, especially with Marvel not doing too well. That's why I was surprised by how good the show was. And I'm glad that X-Men 97 is such a good show because I don't like poo-pooing on things just for the hell of it. Like if something is bad, I'm gonna say, hey, this is bad. I think it's bad.
Mhm.
It's one thing if I say something is bad or if you say something is bad, but when tons of people, when you have a good chunk of the fan base saying, "Hey, this isn't good," then it's not good. Um, but when something is good and everyone unanimously agrees, when everyone emphatically in unison say, "Hey, this is good shit," then you know you have something. And I hope that they continue that momentum, and they could say, "Hey, if our animation is top notch, then maybe we can bring Spider-Man back. We can do Spider-Man 97 or something, or 98, or Spider-Man 99. 99 has a good ring to it. Um, have that 97 style universe, you know, Marvel. Come on,
Mhm.
just write the check, write the check.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretty much like do your own like Marvel animated universe
Yeah,
like you did in the past, but like now that you have this bigger budget and there's more eyes and ears to the product, like, and it's kind of not really weird, but it's like people are kind of poo pooing over the movies and deservingly so, but now people are going to flock to the animated,
hmm
which is good. So I don't know, just I would love to see a Spider-Man 97 show. That would be awesome. Maybe this is just wishful thinking. Maybe revive the Daredevil cartoon that you were supposed to do in the 90s but got canceled. That'd be dope.
yeah,
Yeah, there's like stills of they were going to do a Daredevil cartoon, but it got canceled because they thought Daredevil was too dark for kids. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like Punisher was supposed to be on it and everything. So I don't know, bring it back. Give Charlie Cox another check because he's
please,
great as Daredevil. Yeah, just let him
please.
be Daredevil. Let him be Daredevil in every iteration. Like fuck it.
Yep,
It's like with JK. What the fuck's his name? JK Simmons. Like
yeah,
he's gonna be J. Jonah Jameson in every universe. Like just let Charlie Cox be Daredevil because he's gonna be
please.
Daredevil on the I forgot about this cartoon. The Spider-Man freshman year cartoon that's gonna be on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's gonna be Daredevil in that Charlie Cox. So that's pretty cool. Um,
Okay.
um, I guess since we're already on Marvel news, Giancarlo Esposito revealed that he got cast in a Marvel project, but it's not the character we think it is.
Okay.
Because I know people are campaigning for him to be Xavier, which I'm like, I think he'd be a great Xavier.
Yeah.
Um, for Giancarlo, I love him. I think he's great and everything. I think he gets typecasted too much because it's like, hey, we need a charismatic guy, mainly a villain. It's like Giancarlo, I'll play him.
Yeah.
And it's like he's going to knock it out of the park 9 times out of 10. But it's like, kind of want to see him do more, which is why I like his new show, Parish, because he gets to be just a guy. He used to be just a guy, not a drug lord or mob boss or whatever the fuck. You just get to see him be a guy. So yeah, Giancarlo, I don't know who he's going to be. Um, so it's kind of ruled out that he's going to be Xavier. I know some people think he might be the new Kang,
Yeah.
which that would be interesting. Um,
Yeah.
there's people that want to be Doom. It's just like God, I don't see him as Doom. Like Doom, he needs to be European. Cast a European actor to be Doom. That works out better. If Idris Elba wasn't already Heimdall in MCU, he could. I think he'd be a great Doom. Um, Fassbender is my dream cast as Doom, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to do comic book films anymore. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, Giancarlo, I don't know who I can't really think of who he'd play. It's he said it's going to be sooner than you think. So I don't know. But I don't know. What do you think about Giancarlo in the MCU finally?
Yeah, I'm pretty much all for it. I'm I'm hoping with all of I'm just hoping with all of the just all the crap that Marvel's been putting out that they can have a fresh slate, with all the up and coming projects, and they could just have a hone in focus, and bringing him in will be, I hope, a great addition, because we need this, especially with, again, last couple of films by Marvel weren't good, and especially with the old Kang being like he's I mean he'll come back, but he's not Kang anymore. I forgot his name. Can I believe his name
Jonathan
is
Majors.
yeah, Jonathan Majors. Thank you. He he's out. He's no longer Kang, so they definitely, hopefully this guy is able to, fill in those shoes. I mean, they're big shoes. I don't know if you saw they're big boots, but
Mhm.
I do hope that they will have, you have Kang, you have Doom, you have X-Men, Fantastic Four. I just want good, good, media, good films to talk about, because just shitting on everything, like
It, it's
it gets
exhausting.
kind of, yeah, it's exhausting. It's like, how many times can I say, hey, um, Marvel is putting out bad movies. They need to do better. And I listen to a lot of those people that talk about, yeah, like this shit sucks. Like, this needs to be better. Stop pandering to an audience that doesn't buy into your stuff, that doesn't spend money
Right.
on the stuff. Like,
Yeah. Like
yeah,
that's where superhero fatigue comes in because like the movies aren't that good.
yeah, and
You know,
it's
you
very
you weren't
true.
hearing you weren't hearing superhero fatigue whenever the shit was good.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, when we were getting Civil War and Endgame and Infinity War and Homecoming and Logan and Days of Future Past and The
hmm
Dark Knight. You weren't hearing superhero fatigue. I mean, you heard the haters of like comic book films. Ugh. Like you would hear the haters. Nowadays, you're hearing a lot more of superhero fatigue, and from people that actually like the shit,
yeah,
like you and me, where it's like, can they just write good things? Like
hmm
just and I generally don't like using the word pandering, but it's just like, yeah, pandering. Just stop pandering. Like stop trying to make this into something it isn't. Like
yep,
that's where pandering really hurts something, is when you
yep,
try to force it in.
right,
Like just let the shit out. Like James Gunn, that's why the Guardians movies were so good, is that he didn't pander. He didn't try to make everything, like he had social justice issues in his films, but he didn't try to like make it, live and living color and have it overshadow everything else in the film.
hmm
You know, like Guardians 3, that had political agendas that dealt with, child trafficking and animal abuse, but they just didn't. They weren't. That wasn't the selling point of the movie. The selling point was the story and the characters.
right,
Um, and that was such a good movie. And personally, to me, I think Rocket is the best role that Bradley Cooper's ever done. My opinion, people don't shoot me. Pretty sure there'll
yeah,
be some people shoot, but um, just that's how you write. Just write your characters as people, as human beings, and just stop trying to make them a walking advertisement. Stop trying to make everything into an after school special where it's like, so don't do this, don't do drugs, people. It's just like, oh, shut the fuck up, please. Just I want to watch my movie,
right,
and if it's good, it's good. If it sucks, it sucks. I keep
mhm,
it very simple.
right. Um, and yeah, there was this report that came out that one of the directors for Endgame, I'm trying to find it. Let me see if I can find it really quick. But basically, he brought up the fact that it's the audience's fault for why Marvel isn't doing too well, and then it's like, the lack of accountability is striking because, again, we were just talking about this before. When shit is good, people will come and watch, will sing its praises, just like with WWE. WWE from like 2017, around 2017, but really like in 2018, that's when WWE started to like went to shit through
I mean,
2020.
long before that, dude.
I mean, long before that, but that's when you start like that's when it got bad. Like it was like, okay, no denying it. Like it's real. It's bad to the point that it's it's unavoidable. Like it's the elephant, the elephant in the room analogy. It's the elephant. You can't put it back. You can't cover it up. Like it's there. Um, essentially, the lack of accountability is a striking to me because it just goes to show. Okay, here we go. I found it. Guess I'll share the screen. Share the screen here. Bam, bam. Okay. From Bound into Comics, Avengers and game directors blame decline of MCU on shortened attention spans of younger audiences. Quote, this next generation is looking for ways to tell their own stories that service their own sort of collective ADHD. So, just by the headline, and I mentioned this in terms of social media, how it's like destroyed people's attention spans. That is true.
Yeah.
However, like, and me and you, we talked about this. I've talked about this with people I know, close friends of mine, et cetera, et cetera. We know this. That this is fact, but people still remember how good the last three phases of the MCU were. We
Hmm.
remember movies like the first Avengers. We remember Civil War. We remember Winter Soldier. Um, even some of the obscure ones like uh Thor, Dark World, Iron Man. Who can't forget who forgot about Iron Man, the first movie, and even I'll say the second one isn't as bad. I mean, the third one just got awful, but overall, the
That's
first three
funny.
phases, yeah, it's watchable. Like if you just have it on the background, but in terms of that movie, let me down. That was like one of the few films that let me down in the first three phases. But overall, there were more hits and successes than last the few phases that we have, phase four, phase five. But people remember that. People remember Endgame. People remember Age of Ultron, and that one wasn't as bad. Like people went back and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
this
It
film, yeah,
Age of Ultron is like pretty underrated in my
yeah,
opinion. Like there's things to like about it.
yeah,
Um, there's some good quips. I think the buildup of the character should have been done better,
much better."
in
I
my
agree.
opinion, and not just like I am here and blah blah blah. It is me.
Yeah,
It's like it should have been built up at like the last movie,
yeah,
and then like over time, you find out that Ultron is here or whatever. But yeah, I'm one of those. I'm one of the few that actually liked Age of Ultron.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. But overall, to say, and we'll read the article really, really quick. But to say that basically it's because of people's short attention spans and the age of ADHD, again assaulting the audience intelligence because they know people know, especially when comparing to what we have now for when we had before, it's not the same to say, oh, just okay, we'll watch it. And that was Marvel's thing. They were banking on the audiences to ride that high from Endgame to what we have now. And it's like even those, and you're one of them. You're Marvel, a diehard Marvel supporter, and like you were like, hey, like this isn't good. Like the last few movies were a bust. Like things need to change. Like what's going on? Like
Yeah.
come on,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
Like yeah. Like just like I. I have a way of wording things that I don't think people seem to get. Like whenever I say something is like, yeah, it's not that bad, but I probably won't watch it again. You know what I mean? Like there's been movies where like I always hear like this is the worst comic book movie ever made. I'm like, okay, have you seen Steel? But whatever. I watch them and I'm like, it wasn't that bad. It's just I'm not gonna watch it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Quantum Mania, I don't think was a movie that was needed. And then I love Paul Rudd. Everyone in the world loves Paul Rudd. We didn't need a third Ant-Man movie. And you're taking your big bad and just making him look like a bitch to the weakest Avenger. Let's just be real. Next to Hawkeye.
Yep.
Shout out to Jeremy Renner. He's
He's
doing
cool.
well.
Yeah.
I'm glad Jeremy Renner's well. I love him.
Same.
And then other movies like I'm trying to think of the other movies other MCU movies that came out. Like Eternals. Why did we need Eternals? That probably could have been served better as a series while you're introducing these characters in other movies, and I don't know, whatever. Just in other movies, like there's been shining, beacons of light, like No Way Home, Wakanda Forever, Guardians 3. I know you didn't like Shang-Chi. I like Shang-Chi. It was a good movie, in my opinion. And just other movies.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I like Aquafina when she wasn't talking. Like that's a that's a.
I don't know. I enjoyed the movie. It was a good introduction for a newer character. I didn't like the last act. That was just me. I like the dynamic with this father and son, and I thought the actor playing the father, I thought he was great. He was one of the better villains we've seen in the MCU because he actually had a purpose. He actually seemed like a human being. It wasn't just like, "Grr, I want to destroy everything." He's like, "Yeah, I want to bring back my dead wife that was murdered and wasn't there."
Right.
So I thought that was good. Everything else, Black Widow was meh. Even though Florence Pugh is great, I love Florence Pugh.
Bad writing with that. It's bad.
Yeah, just the writing can really kill anything. The Marvels was unfortunately the catalyst of like, okay, we need to, have better writing for this shit. I mean, you have Oscar winner Brie Larson, and you give her bad writing, and I love Miss Marvel. I love the actress that plays Miss Marvel. I think she's great. Even people that didn't like the movie, they're like, "Yeah, Miss Marvel was great. I liked her. She was likable."
Yeah, she's cool.
But it's just like that was a movie I don't think was needed at that time because it seemed very rushed.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was, because people were already complaining about MCU before, where it's like I need to watch another movie to see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now that you have Disney Plus, it's like, okay, so I have to watch another show. I have to watch 2 other shows and another movie to watch this movie.
Yeah, it's like a chore. It's a chore, basically.
Right. And unfortunately, I do that chore. And it's like, you really should have just like done another season of Miss Marvel to like make people care about her. It's like wrestling. Like, hey, this guy was in New Japan. He was the blah, blah, blah champion of blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, why am I supposed to care?
Right.
So that's like with Miss Marvel, and like Tiana Parrish, love her, think she's great. But she was a supporting character on WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
Like she needed to be sprinkled around the MCU and be in other roles, and then eventually, the audience starts to care about her more. And then Captain Marvel 2 should have been a different story. I mean, to be fair, Captain Marvel 2 probably should have been Secret Invasion.
Yeah,
because she was the one helping the Skrulls, but instead we got Secret Invasion. That was just bad. And then the Marvels.
I need a drink after you brought up Secret Invasion. Oh, I got a drink right here.
I'm probably gonna get a drink after this. The Marvels. I didn't think it was absolutely terrible. I thought there was some things to like in it. Bad writing, and it legit seemed like a movie that was made by the studio and not by a director. And they had interesting ideas, but they didn't go along with it, and just everything else, like the cringy humor, the stuff involving the cats, which I love cats, but it's just like that was just bad. The singing planet, which I'm like, why is this needed?
Oh Lord, yeah, that was cringe to the 10th degree, man.
Me and Betty were just sitting there like, ugh. God damn
Yeah,
it. And just that post credit scene where they introduce the fucking X-Men. They bring back Kelsey Grammer looking like a cartoon version of a Beast, and it's just like nobody cared.
yeah.
Like it was cool for us, but it's like that should have been a big deal, but it wasn't, and nobody
Hmm.
really cared.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, they
So
they put that together. I think they put that together last minute because one of the things I noticed with a lot of like the films we had in the past like few years, they've been plagued with rewrites, reshoots, and it showed I was blatantly desperate. They were trying to get like some fanfare, some like traction, and it just fell flat. And it's like, well, what did you expect? Like, people are not buying into what you're selling. If your products were good, people will buy them. But
uh,
now it's like when we're talking about X-Men 97 and we're getting something good from Marvel, and it's like, this is what we want. Just less is more. Just give us this. Like, I'll be for having one or two big movies a year, maybe like one or two. Like, yeah, one or two, like
two.
max. Yeah,
I think
two.
two works better. And
Yeah,
whenever you do your big team up Avengers esque movie, that should be the only film you release
yeah,
that year.
yeah.
We don't need
I agree.
anything else. And then
Yeah,
TV shows, one or two. That's
one
really
or
all
two.
you need.
Yeah, one or two, and then animation. Just have
Mhm.
one or two animated projects. That's it. Just two and two, two and two and two, two animated, two TV shows, two live action TV shows, and two live action movies. That's it. Don't have six films, then three or four live TV. It's like it's too much. Less is more. You get a lot more by doing a lot less, and it's true. And hopefully they'll do things right with this next phase. And again, less is more. I'm glad what they're doing with X-Men 97. But again, a company, the main goal of a business is to turn a profit. And when they're losing money, they're going to make moves so they can make money. It's just elementary. It's elementary stuff. You see with the Marvels, with Secret Invasion, with Ant-Man 3, with Thor Love and Thunder, all these other films that can't bring up the top of my head, but all those films, all those TV projects, they lost Disney money. And when a company loses that much money and it's like around
Mhm.
uh lost around and
Well,
where
Thor:
is
Love and
that?
Thunder, as much as I didn't like that movie, it actually made money. Unfortunately,
Yeah, it made money. Um, but
it's
it
also
definitely
Thor.
dipped. It store like it made money, but it dipped right after, just because like to when a movie is still like with, and I know you didn't see this movie and it's fine. Um Top Gun Maverick, like that movie was making money hand over fist, even way after the premiere. Like it made so much damn money, and I was still I was upset when Mission Impossible: That Reckoning didn't make money because that high from Top Gun Maverick and Tom Cruise and what he was doing in that film, such good, fanfare and goodwill, and it's just like, oh, yeah, this movie wasn't that good, and I don't. They could hold off on the second one because it's supposed to be a two part to the last Mission Impossible film, and they might like not. They may not do a second film, which
Right.
is kind of concerning if it bombed that much. But yeah, again, if a company doesn't make successful films, successful TV shows, it's gonna hurt. It's definitely gonna hurt, and I do sincerely hope that Marvel and just Hollywood. I mean, knock on wood, right? But I do think that something's got to give, and people are rejecting, you know, the corporate Hollywood, agenda. Like people just want things just to go back to basics. Put out good TV shows, put
Mhm.
good out, put out good, compelling television movies, things that people can sink their teeth into. Don't pander. Don't put real world shit. Don't self insert yourself because um if you're trying so hard to convince us that what you're doing and who you are is great when you don't even think of yourself like that, then why should we give a damn about what you had to say or who you are if you don't like you?
Right.
And I noticed that just people who are just miserable, they try to push the narrative that, oh, my ideas are cool, I'm a cool person, and come to realize, not really. And again, not everyone, just because you can create something or just because you have an idea doesn't mean that it should be, you know, put out, because it's a privilege to put out, to be able to produce content and people flock to it. If, people aren't entertaining, not everyone can be entertaining, captivating, not everyone can be witty, and it's fine. There are people who have it. It's fine. It's just how it is. But I don't know. End of the day, I just hope that Marvel gets their shit together. Well, continue to get their shit together, but it's gonna be a long way because just one just one aspect of Marvel isn't enough to put it, in the green. Like they had to do so much more to get the people back. Because X-Men 97, we're gonna gush over it until, the season finale, but they need to do more. They need to admit, hey, we fucked up. We're sorry. We're sorry for attacking the fans. We're sorry for putting all this garbage and telling you to eat it. We're sorry. I think that will get people feeling a little bit better with what's been put out. But again, Marvel's a big company. Not so sure about that, but we'll see. Uh any thoughts, comments on that?
No, pretty much covered everything.
Okay. I guess there's did you see the Boys trailer? The new
Yes,
season of the Boys? Yeah.
I did.
I like what I saw. Um I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's gonna be very bloody, very violent. Just like with Invincible, just violent, bloody. Um it's just good it's just I can't wait. Like while Invincible is being worked on, for season 3. Like we got the boys. We got something to tide us over. And when X-Men 97 is finished, we have the boys to have a good palate cleanser with. So it's not the end of the world, you know. Like this summer we're gonna have something. And hopefully we get more news on Invincible because I love that show as well.
Mhm.
Um and there's few shows and films I gotta go on my way to watch. Shogun is definitely one I gotta go on my way to watch because I heard a lot of good things.
Yes.
Um,
Mm.
so hey, loves like samurais are awesome. Samurais are dope. That whole lore is awesome. Um, let's see. I forgot to mention this when I was talking wrestling. Um, the King of the Ring,
Yeah.
that um Ilya Dragunov match versus Ricochet, like that match was fucking dope. If any of you guys haven't gotten the chance to watch that match last night, please do. Go out of your way to watch that match on Raw is really good. If you're not a fan of Ilya Dragunov, you will become a fan. And throughout this tournament too, because he moved on. He beat Ricochet in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament, and just his video package. He had like a vignette for him before his match, and it's like this is what needs to be done. You have someone new coming in. He's in the tournament. We need a reason why we should give a damn about him, and that was the selling point right there. And I really like. I'm really digging Ilya so far. Like we all know because we watch NXT or know
Mhm.
of him because of NXT, but just the fact that he's on the main roster and the roster is stacked because of the draft. Um, he's gonna have no shortage of opponents and good matches. Definitely a built-in story with with Gunther. It's already there, and down the line McIntyre, down the line Finn, down the line even Ricochet like that. That's again that match was really good, and with Seth too. I like to see Ilya versus Seth when Seth is healthy. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the match and yeah, what are your thoughts on the match?
I thought it was great. I mean, Ilya is great. I love Ilya. Um, he makes everything look legit. I mean, he can sell me a ketchup flavored lollipop. Like that's how
Yeah.
convincing he is. Like he makes everything look good. Like anybody who's in the ring looks like $1,000,000. They look like an automatic star with Ilya.
Hmm.
Um, I thought him and Ricochet had a great match. Ricochet, people go back and forth with him. I go back and forth with him a lot, but put Ricochet in the ring with somebody who can work, and he's going to do great. Like I thought Ricochet had a good match with Gunther, you know, on the times they did wrestle. And he had a good match with Ilya. So I'm happy Ilya is on the main roster, and it sounds like the fans are taking to him um, because they made sure to really put him over and show like vignettes on him to make him look like something special, like something that you used to do in wrestling, and not just relying on the fact that he was in NXT. It was like, oh, people watch NXT.
Yep.
So, but yeah, they made that nice little video package of him before the match. I'm like, this is good. Um, I'm happy for Lyra. I kind of wish Lyra was built up, better, and not just like she's coming out to help Becky, and it's like, who's that? Like the crowd was like, who's that? Who's helping Becky? Um, so I think they really should have had a vignette for her to make people care about her, and not just like, oh, she Becky's friend or sister or whoever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they'll do a better job at building her up. Probably next show, but
Yeah.
Lyra's
Yeah.
up. I'm happy for her. Gunther and Sheamus had another great match. Um, and Gunther made him tap. And
Yep.
I mean, he was kind of winning as a heel because like Ludwig was, fucking with him while the referee wasn't looking. And after the match, Sheamus posted on Twitter, "There's not going to be a match 4. I
Yeah.
can't wrestle like this guy's chopping me up."
Yeah.
So that was great. The other matches, they were just they were matches. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then CM Punk coming out, cutting his promo, um, which was good. Wasn't great, but it was good. Not one of his better promos since coming back, but pretty good promo. Jey Uso taking on Finn, taking over Drew's spot. Okay match. Um, and just yeah, the Raw was pretty solid. It's funny because everybody will still complain about Raw and be like, there was only 26 minutes of wrestling on Raw, but there was this many minutes of wrestling on AEW, and it's like the entire show was wrestling heavy. So it's like, what are you going to complain about now?
Yeah.
Like,
Can't
shut the
win
fuck
with
up.
these. Yeah. I can't win with these people because if you're not, a journalist and getting the match time for these matches so you can then write an article about it and you're just calculating the time just for the fuck of it just because you want to, it shows that you ain't got a social life If you got
No.
to calculate how many minutes of wrestling is on a certain program, especially a program that you don't like, it's so foreign to me. But I understand because a lot of these people on Twitter want to farm engagement. That's how it is now. There's not much genuineness from these people. All it is just a gotcha. Like, oh, you see, gotcha. It's like, no, like you're lame. Get a hobby, get a life. Well, get another hobby because wrestling's your hobby, but get another hobby and just at the end of the day, do better. If you hate something so much, don't go out of your way to watch it. It's just no
Right.
point. But
Yeah.
it goes without saying, these people just have nothing better to do. And no matter what, you bring logic, you bring uh reasoning, you bring the facts. It doesn't matter because some way WWE is evil. The wine, yeah, I know we supposed to, like we said, an hour and 30, but the Harvey Weinstein comments that Tony Khan brought up, like, I
He's,
heard that and it's just like, oh, but before I give my thoughts, what are your thoughts on that?
he's a fucking idiot. Like he's just a fucking idiot. Like if Vince was still in charge, okay, fine, whatever. But it's just like you're gonna call him Harvey Weinstein. Why? It's a
Hmm.
new regime, new company, new people running it, and just that was just a stupid fucking thing for him to say. And just you can tell like the guys on the NFL Network were like, okay, then we'll like they were just like, oh god, this guy's
Yeah.
a he he's a moron. Like he's an idiot.
He is.
I'm done. I've tried giving him some credit, but it's just like he's to say that you're an idiot. Like you should have done the smart thing and try to be friendly with the other company, but you've gone out of your way to just trash the competition when you suck, when your company is not good. You can't draw a mill. You're losing money. You're booking arenas that you can't fill,
Hmm.
and you're going out of your way to keep spending on people from the other company. Edge has become a joke. Jericho has become a joke. Just the EVPs look like bitches. They're
Yep.
complete bitches. Your first ever African American world champion has become an afterthought.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then you overspend on guys like Osprey and Okada. I mean, with the exception of Osprey, I think Osprey has done well out of
Yep.
all the signings, but he's not bringing in ratings. Okada is fucking dull. Like he is dull as a fucking doornail. And I'm just like, so this is the guy that everybody was getting wet in their jeans about. I'm like,
Yep.
okay, whatever. And
Yep.
Mercedes hasn't done shit. All she does is just come out and just give bad promos and have bad vignettes, and it's just like, and then to hear people with a straight face say WWE messed up in not signing these people, it's like, no, they haven't. No, I think they've done fine.
Yeah, they're
You know,
doing fine. Yeah.
yeah, they signed back Drew McIntyre, who's doing the best work of his career. They signed back Finn Balor. They signed back Seth Rollins, and they're creating new stars, which is something you should do.
Yep.
But it's like we're still in the narrative of like, oh, they messed up and not giving them their money. And it's like, well, now you see why they didn't give them their money.
Yep. Well said. Yeah, what Tony Khan's comments during the when he's on that, for the NFL draft, he he came off as, like you said, an idiot. Just a new regime. It's not Vince McMahon running things. Like he's gone. He has nothing to do with the company, but still need, again, it's like a gotcha. And you notice right after he said that, all these AEW accounts went out of their way to say, oh, the Harvey, the Weinstein of wrestling. And it's like you you do realize that it just makes you look bush league because you can't compete in other ways. So you just gotta bring up and listen, name calling. It's part of the game. You know, mudslinging is part of the game. I'm not saying, oh no, like protect WWE at all costs. No, like they don't need me to protect them. But it just goes to show that with these people online and with Tony Khan especially, Tony Khan breeds this tribalism. They breed this disdain for for wrestling. Like it makes sometimes it makes me not like wrestling because all these people I talked about the dirt sheets on how a lot of these people are not to be trusted. And you saw how Shara Sap and Fightful, the members of Fightful just go on, hissy fits. It's just how you deal with adversity, how you deal with someone disagreeing with you, or when you're told, "Hey, you did this wrong." It's a certain way to go about it, and they didn't handle themselves right, and it just shows that they're very thin-skinned. They can't take criticism, just like Tony Khan. All of them are in the same bunch, the same bubble. They cannot take criticism well. When constructive criticism is thrown their way, they can't handle it. They instead go berserk. They go crazy. They short circuit. They lose their minds. They have meltdowns. And good, because in this game, if you can't handle criticism, if you don't have thick skin, what are you doing? What are you doing? And it shows that these people are chronically online. That's a click. They have nothing better to do than to engagement farm, to lie and bullshit instead of just be non-biased and report the fucking news. But they can't.
Mm-hmm.
They can't, and they won't, because it's all a click. It's all who how many likes and retweets I can get from my favorite wrestler, or who how many people are in my circle jerk party, rather than, hey, let's report on the news, let's report on the facts, let's talk about what we think about this or what could happen. No, it's just a popularity contest. It's about who's popular, who's whose dick you can suck at the end of the day. And to me, I just can't take these journalists. I can't take them seriously, and I can't take Tony Khan seriously. And there's so many things that I have issue with, and I want them to succeed. If you're making money doing wrestling, if wrestling's your hobby, if it helped you during a hard time, I want all of us to succeed. But what is preventing from people to succeed in this space is not being honest. When you're not honest, when you cannot take criticism, constructive criticism, it really stunts the growth, the overall growth. And it's just that's just real. At the end of the day, when it boils down, Tony Khan's comments were just asinine, retarded. Worry about your company. Worry about your TV rights still. Build new stars. Have compelled television, weekly episodic television. Don't worry about what the other company is doing. Like, end of the day, you should be worrying about what's going on in your company, how to make your company thrive, how to take the company out of the red and into the green, or you're playing, um, you know, blackjack, getting it from the red to the black. But neither here or there. It's just more the same from the IWC. A lot of hypocrisy, lot of um, just a lot of tribalism, a lot of high school shit, and a lot of these people are in their late 30s, early 40s. It's just like it's pathetic. Just grow up. You're not in high school anymore. Some of these people in the IWC peaked in high school, and it shows. And time to put your big boy pants on, ladies and gentlemen, because it's real. It's real life. It's not. Is not. Life isn't online. It's not just on Twitter. There's a whole world out there. Grass to touch, air to sniff, um, wind to feel. So
Mm.
yeah, it's the end of the day. My little rant over, rant over.
Just and just to add to that, Brian last. on the Jim Cornette, experience. It said there's not enough people out there getting their dick sucked.
True. True.
Go out, touch grass, and get your dick sucked.
Yep. The
Hate to be graphic, people, but it's the truth.
It's the truth. And don't worry, soon we'll be able to be as graphic as we can. But some things have to be said. At the end of the day, when you have post nut clarity, they call that when you after release, you get to think more clearly. It's like, oh man, like why was I so angry? Oh, because I didn't bust a nut. That's why. And yeah, a lot of these people need that post nut clarity. They need to bust a nut. They need to bust one or two or three. I don't know how many they need, but they definitely need to get the dick sucked. They definitely need to get laid. Stop fanning over Liv Morgan. Listen, she's attractive. She's pretty, but she ain't going after you. You need to go, work on yourself. You need to stop living online chronically online people is like the worst. They go outside, touch some grass, sniff the air. If you're not in the city, you'll have better quality air. But go breathe in, deep breath in and out, and just realize, hey, there's more to life. There's more to this world than just being on Twitter and complaining about WWE and AEW. It's more to life. Relax, guys. Come on. But yes, I guess that's the show. A bit wrestling heavy, but
It had to be said.
Yeah, it had to be. So there's a lot of stuff that went down. And again, we're just us guys having a conversation, and where the conversation flowed, it flowed. And yeah, just again, good show as always, Drew.
Thanks,
And
sir.
yeah, appreciate it. Normally we record like on Mondays, but special Tuesday. Yes, indeed. But where can people find you, Drew?
I don't want them finding me, but if you must know, the DY experience is every Wednesday. If you're in the Wrestling Soup Discord, you can find me along with my other brother in arms, Justin, from Spawnbuster Tees at spawnbustertees.com, where we talk about wrestling. That is more of the wrestling heavy show. It's every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully, if the internet comes back up, it should come back up today later, but
Yep.
hopefully it does come back up tomorrow, because tomorrow we will be covering Backlash along with everything else that's happening in wrestling. And if you're not able to hear the live feed, that's okay. It's on you, but that's okay. You can hear me on my home base, which is Spreaker, which usually comes out the very next day of roughly around 9 in the morning ish Central Time, 10 in the morning Central Time. And then you can hear me everywhere else, like Spotify and Apple and iTunes, and Apple is iTunes. YouTube, I have a YouTube channel. So be kind and hit a subscribe button and like and comment, and do whatever you want. Let's see. And then I'm gonna support Justin's business, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead. He's a friend, so definitely plug Justin's business. Please do.
Yes. So Spotbuster Tees is Justin's store. Justin has a store here in San Antonio. It's at the Wonderland Mall of Americas. So if you live in San Antonio and you're a wrestling fan, come by. He has everything you need. He has Funko Pops. He has action figures. He has socks. He has shoes. He has hats, cups, collectibles. He doesn't have CM Punk the movie, as far as I know. I'll have to ask that. He even has like old magazines, like magazines from like the 90s and 2000s, which I think is pretty cool. And you can also sell. Like if you have any wrestling memorabilia or anything, you can sell to him, and he'll tell you if he can take it or not. But yeah, Spawnbuster Tees in San Antonio. If you're thinking about making the trip, please. But if you can't make the trip, if you live out of state, that is fine. There's spawnbustertees.com. And same shit. You can get t-shirts and whatever your little old heart desires. So spawnbustertees.cam.
Very nice, very nice. And of course, please support, support the bro, support us, support Justin at spambustertees.com. Please do. Good friend of Drew's is a good friend of mine. So definitely check that out if you so desire. And check out Drew, of course, his show Wednesday nights after AEW Dynamite. And
Mm.
also check me out on Twitter if you want. I mean, I guess you can check me out on Twitter, on X at Mr. Ruben Prime. You can check out the show Culture Attack on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. Same, just type in the same words on the search engine there, Culture Attack, and we'll be adding Instagram and TikTok to our repertoire so we can put like shorts on the interwebs. So you can, hear us on more platforms, get, little bits and pieces of us when you feel like it, because a lot of quotables, a lot of clippable shareable moments. So that's something we'll gradually add on. For
Can
sure.
I promote one more thing?
Sure, you can.
As far as the other shows that are on Patreon, other than ours, the show I did with RJ, the Brooklyn Savage, as you all know, Revenge of the Savage Nerds. Eventually, I will post the episodes up there. It's still on the schedule of shows we're going to do. We're still keeping the show alive. I just need to find a day to upload the episodes. I probably won't upload all of them. Just I'll upload them gradually,
Yeah.
especially in weeks when nothing's going on. So that show is still active. We just need to me and him just need to find like a date to. I mean, we're not going on a date with each other. I mean, he is a very charming, uh, handsome man. But that's beside the point. I don't know why my thoughts. Why I always go to gay, but whatever. But
It's okay.
where was I? I was talking about on RJ's eyes. No, our show, me and RJ's show, it's still going to be a thing. Just need to. I might just like slowly upload each show, like gradually, maybe like once a week.
Yeah.
So instead of just all at once. And then the show I did with Jeff Lippman, same thing. It's still going to be active. Like I just said with RJ, I'll probably just do like one a week, just so I'm not throwing everything out. And you're like, wow, wait, what?
Yeah.
You didn't give me time, huh? But
Yeah.
yeah, those shows are still active. And again, me and RJ just need to find a date to talk about everything because there's a lot to discuss.
Oh
And
yeah.
our shows more so about comic book culture, Marvel, DC, shit like that. And there's certainly a lot to discuss. So me and him are just trying to find a schedule. And Jeff is busy with his 57,000 other shows that he does.
Yes.
So if me and him ever do another one of our show, Garden of Jerome, again, it'll just be like it used to be, which is just like once a month.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, look out for those because those are coming out soon.
Definitely. And yes, as far as the old episodes of Culture Attack and um all the other content we did prior to Culture Attack being a thing, I'm gonna do the same. It's just going through a lot of the other, episodes. There were two that I uploaded, but I plan on uploading the rest gradually. I don't want to just upload everything as well
Right.
because they're a lot of them are a lot older, and I want to make sure that there's some content, so that way if when we can't post, I'm able to put out little put out the retro episodes. So I'm doing that, and just to double check everything, make sure that the um the audio quality is good, and have the show notes together because we did a lot. We did a lot of the episodes during the Patreon era, so I don't want to like keep those off of the interwebs for long. Like I want to put them out, but gradually because a lot of content, so much content. So definitely be patient and um like this show I definitely want to go back to the roots, just discussing movie reviews, TV reviews, but also
Right.
just having a conversation because I know, like you mentioned, you and RJ do talk about more in depth with DC Marvel comic book talk. So I don't want our shows to sound the same,
Right.
if you catch my drift.
No, I get
Just
you.
so yeah, just so that way, like we talk about things that we both enjoy, just banter, shoot the shit. But I do the main goal of this show is to open up a certain late night vibe. I definitely wanna open
Hmm.
up certain bakery, if
Mm,
you catch my drift. Like that
I
is the
do.
goal. Yeah, that is the main goal. I want to open up the bakery. It's coming soon. Got to get the graphics up and everything, and I want to at least do one once a month. And definitely, Drew is going to be a part of it. Also, want to have other people on, but definitely Drew will be on it when able. And again, always talk about, hey, the bakery is open. Bakery is open when watching wrestling and whatnot. When the ladies of WWE, NXT, AEW, when they wrestle, and you know the the bakery is open. So that's where that little quip is there. But yeah, like that is the main goal, and I love doing this show with Drew because it's fun, and we always have a good time discussing just things we like, things we don't like. So yeah, just definitely stay tuned. Definitely stay tuned to Culture Attack. Stay tuned to DY Experience, Spinebuster Tees. Stay tuned to everything that we have. But please, on YouTube, if you may, and we'll finish with the plugs. But please, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Culture Attack YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe to the podcast. You know, hosts Apple, Spotify, more coming soon. But definitely subscribe to the YouTube. I'll be posting the podcast on there as well, and clips coming soon. So please definitely subscribe to the old YouTube if you ever so desire. So that being said, Drew, appreciate you being on. I know we went a little
Sure.
over, but it is what it is. Um, and again, Drew, appreciate you. For Drew, for myself, Ruben Prime, I appreciate you guys so much for listening to this on the download. We will go live next time we go live. We'll definitely put that out on Twitter. You know, knock on wood, but we'll definitely be live and more to come. So please stay tuned. Really appreciate you listening to this, and we'll be back next time. Peace.
Peace.